As a scientist exploring how the brain creates meaning, what are the most recent discoveries teaching you about the human condition?
How much time do we got? Because I think you're gonna be honest. Tell me what your dream is. That's what I want to know.
I don't have.
You don't have a dream. You've already realized your dream.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's it. You get no funding.
This is the dream, isn't it? This is what is happening right now, is the dream. So why would I want this? I want to wake up. And you only wake up when
It's
you...
actually really good.
And I want to wake up. And the only way to wake up is to actually stop dreaming. And science, in the end, what science is trying to do is to wake us up from a dream. The dream of ignorance.
We'll have said ignorance is bliss, but it's exactly the opposite. Ignorance is not bliss because you're not conscious that you're ignorant, right? By definition, ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is blindness, is automatism, is robotic life. I'm sick of us being robots. You know, of waking up and making coffee and having a shower, just going to work, you know, organizing the logistics of life, shopping, doing my accounting, cleaning stuff, and doing this every day. I'm not saying there is no peace, that it's not nice, that you can't do it in a mindful fashion, that you can't derive a lot of pleasure and peace from it. The problem is that there's moments where you need to perhaps realize what's happening. And this is the privilege of science. This is what neuroscientists or psychologists or health medical people do, is they understand how this all works. They try to work out what mental health is, how people live, react, manage their lives. And I don't understand why there should be this divide between some kind of higher order knowledge based on research and academic research and the actual experience of life. I don't understand that divide. And I think it's a shame that there is this divide. My dream is to break it. And when I say break it, I'm talking about shattering it. Like literally, like going through a mirror or a window. How do we get people to realize some fundamental notions about what the mind is? That reality is just a construct. That, the light around me, the depth of space behind me, the movement of things is built in my mind in real time, every second of the way. And what does it matter? You could say, well, nobody cares. I mean, even if we can accept that this is an illusion, what's the consequence of that? Well, it is my belief that if you can handle this for a moment, if you can master this thing in any way, I think suddenly you may be able to get closer to controlling it, to actually become free through that process. I mean, there is no higher goal, in my opinion, in life than becoming free. And because I don't feel we are, and I include myself happily. I'm not saying I've got any secrets, but I think that realizing that our limits and that our limits are mostly illusory means that we can actually get through these limits. We can get beyond them. How do you operate that transition?
Yes.
But not in an explicit fashion, but not by telling them, look, this is what this means. You understand? It's by experience it, and gain that understanding by yourself.
But this is a really important question, because at the moment ignorance holds an attraction to people. They would rather be ignorant. They would choose ignorance. Just like in Cerebellum, people chose ignorance.
It's a very good point.
And they're doing the same now with politically. I mean, really, the middle ground, the not knowing, the either or, it is becoming, in our polarized society, a place with no value anymore. You have to believe in this thing or the other, and it has really going to have material consequences over the next few years with the rise of the right and the left. Where is science in that conversation? Especially in neuroscience and the arts. That's what I would like us to look at.
One thing that neuroscience tells us, and together with psychology and cognitive psychology, is the perfect environment for this. It's very simple. Explicit knowledge and implicit knowledge are completely dissociated in the human mind. What I tell you now, it doesn't really matter. It's gonna feed on some level the stream of information that creates your thoughts and your opinions and that drives your behavior, but the impact is gonna be minimal. I can now, if you're a fundamental Brexiter with all your blood and bones right now, and I feed you information for 2 hours, demonstrating in the most rational way that this is the most stupid decision ever for a country to make, I may even end up confirming more strongly. Why? Because what you're reading from that expose is not the information. It's non-verbal. You are lectured by a French guy, and if you're a fundamental Brexiter in your blood, you're going to think, what the fuck are you to tell me what I should think? And the deductions, the impact, the implicit knowledge that's created in your mind has nothing to do with the data. All the explicit information I give you serves almost is counterproductive. It just pisses you off more than you were before. And I find that fascinating. Implicit learning, implicit understanding of the world is everything we are. This is what we do every day. So, do we learn from our mistakes? Do we learn from Nazi extermination of Jewish people during the Second World War? Of course not. It's a fact of life. It's a fact of history. It doesn't mean that from that I'm going to derive a learning from my, it could lead to even more hatred of the Jewish people, potentially, which actually, you've heard about the resurgence of this in Germany lately. So, it's not illogical. It's almost logical, but because it operates on an implicit level, not at an explicit level. The factual information does not drive human behavior. We have learned that. Neuroscience has demonstrated it, but not just neuroscience, cognitive science, psychology. And it's actually something that's becoming more and more mainstream now. So, if I want to change people's behavior, if I want to open their eyes, if I want them to realize, to become conscious and understand, what do I need to do? Explain to them? Send them to university? Can you see how ludicrous it is? It's a joke. They will not understand things from explicit exposure to knowledge. How do I get them to understand something? They have to experience it. They have to experience something. They have to go through and they have to understand it by themselves. They have to take it in, digest it, and derive deduct, interpret, work it out by themselves, then they have appropriated the knowledge. This is what Corticalia is trying to do.